All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions. Continue our retro pay-per-view review series. This is going to be WWE WrestleMania 19. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this. This to me, excuse me. It was a lot of high-powered stardom on this
Mhm.
card. Something to the likes we haven't seen all that often. We saw it the year before
Yeah, the
WrestleMania
roster,
18. We
yeah.
had Rock, you had Hogan, the NWO. But this one, you got the return of Shawn Michaels in a first-time ever match. Hogan's on the card in a match we never thought we'd see. Um, Main event, almost that didn't happen. We'll get into that later. But this is a pretty impressive card. So here we go. March 30th, 2003 at Safeco Field in Seattle. 54,097 on hand for this. Buy rate was pretty good, or 560,000 on this one. Pretty impressive. You had Michael Cole and Taz on SmackDown doing the commentating. You had Ross and Lawler on
Right.
Raw.
This is the first WrestleMania after the brand split.
Yeah, and I could have did without Taz on the commentary. I love the guy to death as far as a wrestler, but as far as
Right.
commentating goes, brother,
It
it's
should
not
it,
working for me.
it should be noted Randy Orton and Batista got hurt right shortly before this because I'm sure they would have factored into this pay-per-view, but they got
Oh,
injured.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So here we go. Let's kick it off for the Cruiserweight Championship. It is Matt Hardy version one. Hated this.
Attitude.
Mattitude versus the number one contender and challenger Rey Mysterio. And the only thing I liked about it was that when he came out and they showed you the computer that
Yeah, yeah, the stats.
Matt doesn't like sausage
Yeah.
or whatever the whole thing. And then he's got the little pipsqueak with him, Shannon Moore,
Yeah,
former WCW Hardcore Champion, mind you.
I always like that gimmick.
The
Matt Hardy.
Mattitude.
Yeah, yeah, I like that gimmick.
It's all right. I don't know. Sometimes it annoyed me, but when he got into the cruiserweight division, he got himself actually down to the weight limit that he could qualify so that he could be in that division. So, referee during this match also is just blind. I don't know what's going on here. He's not looking when anytime Shannon Moore attacked Rey Mysterio. There was a botch in the match, but they tried to quickly cover it up. After Mysterio hit the 619, he went for the West Coast pop, but slipped on the top rope and missed Matt Hardy. And Taz, the one good thing Taz did, he covered it up in the commentary real quick. And then now Mysterio was on Matt Hardy's shoulders. He went for a victory roll, but Matt counted it, held the ropes, gets the pin, and the one guy we thought was going to win on this card, Rey Mysterio, comes up on the short end of the stick here, and Mattitude keeps the Cruiserweight Championship. Following that, in the back, the limo pulled up, and out comes the Catfight Girls. This had to be a Vince thing. And then, of course, they showed on Monday Night Heat what happened. You see Nunzio coming out of the bathroom,
There you
Big Show and A Train coming out as well. The whole thing where, Nunzio, hey, I found a wallet. Is it yours? They threw Nathan Jones a beating.
go. Yeah, which that was the
Thank you.
excuse. That was the excuse for him not really being in the main event or only being there for 2 seconds.
I'm really surprised that Taker even considered doing a tag team match anyway. Excuse me.
Yeah, I guess that was like his protege, I believe. Like he was
Yeah,
supposed to
he
be.
tried to take him under his
Yeah,
wing,
yeah,
but felt
yeah.
he wasn't ready.
Right, yeah.
He was a badass later on in Survivor Series, but then they got rid of him, so it didn't work. Next match on the card now became a one-on-two handicap match. It was The Undertaker versus
Yeah,
Big Show and A Train.
yeah. And the story is basically they didn't think he was ready. Like they booked him, they booked Nathan for that tag team match, and they just at the last minute they pulled the plug and they're like, ah, we don't think this guy's ready.
Uh,
So I mean, it is a handicap match, but it's still technically a tag team match because of what happens later.
yeah, technically it is. You're right. Of course, Limp Bizkit performed Taker's entrance theme for him to come
Oh
down. I
yeah.
thought that was awesome. He
What
had
was
the
it?
American flag on the back of the Harley.
People forget how big Limp Bizkit was in the early 2000s. Them in Linkin Park,
Oh
that
yeah,
new
they
metal
should,
sound, like was he
to
was
me
he,
they still are.
yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
still are big in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I love Limp Bizkit. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Linkin Park,
Hmm.
and I love this
Well, now with the
performance
new
that they
singer,
did.
now with the new singer. Now, rest in peace to Chester. That new singer is
Yeah, yeah, this is true.
atrocious. But
This is
anyway,
true.
we move on.
But Limp Bizkit, oh man, what a performance
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this
that was cool.
WrestleMania. Um, Now, of course, when Big Show and A Train come down, A Train goes and spits on Taker's bike. Oh, that's no bueno, buddy.
That was a
You're
mistake.
gonna pay for that. Now, Big Show with a choke slam on the Undertaker, then left the ring and headed down the aisle. Why? And everybody's like, "What the hell's going on?" Why? Because here comes Nathan Jones
Yeah.
down to the ring with a nice roundhouse
It was
kick on
nice.
Big
It was
Show.
pretty smooth, yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. So he was and he was legally the tag team partner.
Yeah, there was no disqualification. Can't because he
So,
was technically part of
right.
it. And then Jones with a big boot on A Train, which came followed with the tombstone from the Undertaker and the pin.
So
And
yeah.
Taker is still undefeated
Right.
at
They
WrestleMania.
count as part of the streak, even though this was a tag team match. Technically,
Well, he
anyway.
got the pin. He got the pin.
Yeah, I know, but still.
He's 11-0.
Right, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Leave it alone. We know we're going to lose it
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
So, but this is actually, and I'll tell you what, man, Taker really held himself against a guy that's bloated, and another guy that doesn't have that many wrestling moves under his belt there. So I
Yeah.
mean, he did what he could against the two of them. But Taker's Big Show still looked out of shape in this one.
Yeah. No.
Now, after the match in the back, the catfight girls ran into Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Now, this is not going to end well. Plus, they showed what happened on Sunday Night Heat. We had a world tag team title
Yeah.
match. It was supposed to be uh, Lance Storm and William Regal
Yeah.
versus RVD and Kane.
Regal gets injured or sick, something like that. Something happened.
Yeah. So they replaced him with Chief Morley,
And they
aka
were supposed
Val
to be on,
Venus.
and I believe they were supposed to be on the main card too, and they got moved. So
That's a
originally,
shame, man. I don't even know why. I still to this day don't understand why Val Venus changed his name. That just was just
I mean,
stupid.
I'm sure it wasn't his doing.
No, it was their. They got a re-gimmick for him because he's Bischoff's assistant or whatever the case is. I don't know. But in any event, the Dudleys were at ringside. They cost RVD and Kane the opportunity of getting the tag titles.
Damn it!
So Morley and Lance Storm retained the World Tag Team titles. Tag team division when they did the split on Raw was kind of a little weak. I like the tag team division on SmackDown better at this point. Excuse me. Next match on the card, we've got for the women's championship triple threat match. Victoria with that little creepo Stevie Richards at her side, defending the title against Jazz and Trish Stratus. Now, this match wasn't bad. Jazz had just come back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
She was out for quite a while. Trish and Victoria had an extensive feud going at this point. Victoria wasn't bad. The only thing I didn't like was the little gargoyle that she had hanging around her.
Remember, she used to come out to that song from Tattoo. Remember, they had like two hits, if I remember correctly.
During the match, it was a pretty good match between all three of them. Jazz put Trish in the STF, which was pretty impressive. Referee distracted by Victoria, who's trying to bring the women's title into the ring. Steven Richards gets involved by throwing Jazz to the outside. He had a funny moment. I'll get to that in a second. Ref is counting Jazz out on the outside. Now, why is he doing that? It's a triple threat match. There is no countouts. We got a WCW moment happening here. I don't understand that, but Richards comes in the ring with a chair to hit Trish, and the idiot hits the rope with the chair and then bounces back and hits himself. He's not doing himself any favors. Trish then hits Stratusfaction on Steven Richards. Trish hits Victoria with the chick kick, gets the pin, and once again, Trish Stratus is the women's champion. Following that, Coach was in the back interviewing The Rock. The Rock, for the third time at WrestleMania, will be facing Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's his destiny. It's his destiny to win this time.
This is also more personal, and I'll get to that later as far as to why. Next match on the card was a triple threat match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. You had Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, Team Angle, versus Rhino and Chris Benoit versus Los Guerreros. And the only thing that didn't fit was Rhino and Benoit. But they had a feud going with Haas and Benjamin, so that's why they were put in it. Now, during the match, and this was a pretty good match itself, I enjoyed this one. Benjamin and Chavo were the legal men. Rhino gores Charlie Haas. Then Chavo, then he hits to go gores Chavo Guerrero. Eddie pulls Rhino out of the ring. Shelton crawls over and gets the pin. So Eddie kind of helped them get the victory in a way. And so Haas and Benjamin retained the tag team titles on this evening. I thought this night I thought that the Guerreros were going to get the titles but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Too short.
Now they're waiting for their mentor and their leader to hopefully successfully defend his title later on the card. So in the back, once again, we got the catfight girls, Jesus, with Stacy and Tori. And of course, Stacy and Tori are debating who made WrestleMania: Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon.
The way she said Hogan was funny, though.
You know what? Let's just both of them.
Yeah, no,
It's both of them.
both of them. Yeah,
It's Vince's idea. It's Hogan's popularity. Cha-ching. We made money. Let's end it. Of course, then the catfight girls argue as far as who made WrestleMania and then where to fight it out, in the ring or the bed. Oh, Lord. This has definitely got Vince written all over this.
Oh, yeah. Vince or JR, right? Or both?
I don't know about JR. I think
Not JR, I'm sorry, King. Jerry the King.
Oh, yeah. They both of them are in there, having fun with this one. Plus, they showed what led up to the next match, and to me, it was the best match on the night because after 4.5, about 4 years, finally, no, 5 technically, since we've seen him at a WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels makes his return to WrestleMania against Chris Jericho.
Right, they have been feuding for a while.
Oh yeah, and you remember we go back to the Royal Rumble where unfortunately Shawn didn't last that long because of the attack by Jericho.
Jericho was Shawn was his idol. He was the next Shawn Michaels.
Mimicked him in the ring.
It's funny because
when they do that, by the way.
But you know what? I was one of the guys. I remember when Jericho was in WCW. I said this guy's he's the next Shawn Michaels.
He would mimic him. Yeah, he had all the tools and everything. And I mean, dude, this match was 22 minutes, and I love how
we stole the show.
Yes, they did. I love how they divvied away from Shawn and Hunter from Armageddon, and all of a sudden let's go to Jericho. And then at some point at the end of the year, we'll restart that feud up again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, which was actually, it made sense because a lot of people thought that we were going to see Shawn Michaels versus Triple H as the world title match on this card. So, again, in this match, these two did not disappoint. Shawn Michaels brings it all to the table.
Jericho was doing Shawn. He was doing Shawn moves, the kip up. They did the sweet chin music,
the pose.
Oh yeah, it was good stuff.
He did everything. A great
story. Yeah.
He even hit Shawn with Shawn's flying elbow.
Yeah, I think this is the match that solidified Shawn as Mr. WrestleMania.
I believe so. If it wasn't in people's minds before, this was definitely.
This is when it kind of started. Yeah,
definitely. Now Jericho was in the corner, stomping his foot for sweet chin music. And then he hits Shawn with it, but Shawn kicked out. You're not going to beat him with his own move. Come on now. Let's be ridiculous. Let's be realistic. Shawn hits the sweet chin music, but couldn't get the pin. Jericho went for a back suplex. Michaels flipped over, rolled up Jericho and gets the pin. I like the style on how he did that. Shawn Michaels gets the victory. His first WrestleMania victory since WrestleMania 12. Because, 13, he wasn't there, lost a smile. Now, after the match, Jericho was crying, and I believe that was truly sincere. I think I remember hearing an interview he did years later that how he was, how emotional he got after the match because he fought one of his idols, if you want. But however, Jericho's got to be Jericho, and as when they went for the hug, Jericho low blowed him. And pushed him to the mat, and Jim Ross is like, that son of a bitch.
It was good stuff, though. It
was.
And they go on to have tremendous feuds for the next 5 years, right? I mean, 2008,
Yeah, 2008 was pretty much that was the highlight of the feud.
Right, yeah. Mm.
So in the back, we see Sylvain Grenier in a ref uniform because now we know it's Sylvain Grenier because La Resistance hasn't made their appearance yet. And this is the little creepy bastard that cost Hogan the match in Canada.
Right, exactly.
So, he's looking for Mr. McMahon. And then we had a performance by Limp Bizkit. Loved it. Now, after the Shawn Michaels match, we're going to get a catfight girls match. We're going to get Tanya Ballinger and Katana Baker versus Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler.
It was the beer girls, right? I mean, that was
the Miller Lite girls, yeah. And before it started, Stacy came out to join. Stacy came out to join the fight, and then Tori was supposed to be just a one-on-one round up be on a tag team. Actually, no, I'm sorry, not a tag team, fatal four-way. They de-pants Coach, and Stacy pins him. This was just like, hey, if you guys got to get snacks for the second half of the card, be my guest. Go. because we're going to kick off the second half of the card with a tremendous match, and that being for the world title, Triple H versus Booker T. And oh my God,
It was a
what a
great
match!
it was a great match, but I didn't like the build up. I felt they should have just focused on WCW. They should have focused on the fact that Booker T was a champion. Oh, that the belt you had doesn't mean anything. Go that route. I didn't like when they went the racist route with the whole, oh, you were in jail and saying all of this
I don't
stuff
understand
about
why they do that. I really
stupid.
don't. Because remember at one point later on with MVP, they did the same thing with him with the
Yeah,
incarceration and all
it
that nonsense.
wasn't
I don't
needed.
like that.
You know why it wasn't needed? Because Booker T was already established.
Exactly.
Maybe if you're bringing in somebody that the people don't really know, maybe you want to try to get like it's called cheap heat. You use stuff like
Yeah.
racism and stuff like that. But with Booker, he was established. He was already a superstar. Everyone knew who he was. Everyone loved him. To go that,
Exactly.
oh, you got arrested when you were a kid and all this. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was necessary, man. I didn't like it at all.
No, like you said earlier, tell them when you held the belt, it meant nothing. I
Right.
brought prestige and class
Yeah, keep
back to this
focusing on that.
belt.
Focus on that. But my thing is, if you're gonna, I guess spoiler alert, you know who wins. If you're gonna do cheap heat like that with racism and stuff like that, Booker T has to go over. He has to go over
And I
in that
thought on this
scenario.
night he was going
He
to
has to. But you know,
because the whole crowd was just waiting for it. He
yeah.
came
I was a
real
Booker fan. Maybe
close.
I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased because I was a Booker fan, and I
No,
don't like
no,
Triple H.
I don't like Triple
No,
H around this time because
this is
I
the reign
know
of terror.
what. Yeah, he was burying a lot of people. He was and he's on top of his game. Even
He
though
had just
I am a Triple H fan, this is
he.
around the time I was kind of
No, it
getting
was terrible.
annoyed.
Raw was awful at this point, and this is when he had just buried Scott Steiner right before this. Now,
Yes,
granted, to be fair, Scott was injured and his foot was destroyed. He couldn't really work the same way, but
no, he couldn't.
he buried him, and this was a great match, though. Don't get me wrong. The match was good.
He bury eventually he'll bury Shelton Benjamin
Yeah,
in 2004.
right.
He tries to bury RVD
Yeah.
for what happened at Survivor Series. I
So
mean, he tried to keep everybody under him
yeah,
so that
I
he could
don't
be
like
the
it.
champion forever.
It didn't work for me. This didn't work for me.
This timeline did not for me either.
No.
So now during the match, of course, ref distracted by Triple H. Hey, it was Nick Patrick, by the way. Go
Yeah.
figure. Flair attacked Booker T on
Flair's
the outside. Yeah, we got
This is when
Flair.
Flair was always interfering. I love Flair though with Triple H, the Evolution. Like I thought it was some of the best stuff that Ric
They
Flair had done
really
in
did
years.
bring him
They
back
revitalized them. Yeah, it was Triple H. It
exactly
was Triple H. To his credit, it was Triple H that brought him back.
because after the whole Vince McMahon thing with the consortium and all that
Yeah, yeah.
nonsense, they really had nothing for him, and it's
No,
just
but the
like he
Flair,
was just
it was great.
it was.
It was great. And Booker does the Harlem Hangover in this match.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He hit him with it, but it looked like he hurt his knee after he hit it. He went for the cover, but Flair put Helmsley's foot on the rope.
Damn it.
And then, of course, H hits the pedigree right after that, gets the pin.
I want to say something about that pedigree. I didn't like the fact that look how long it took him to get to pin Booker T. You would have thought that Booker T would have kicked out because it took Triple H a long time to pin him.
I think he's trying to say my move is better than yours.
Right. And he still beats him. Booker
Yeah,
T
I
deserves
did.
to
Yeah, I agree. I think Booker should have went over
He
this
should have went
night.
over, man. And then they screw Sting over. I don't forget it. I don't want to get into it.
And then look what the next look what the next pay per view for Backlash called for. It was, and they already put it out before we even knew which side he was going to be on. Remember, it was Shawn Michaels, Booker T, and Kevin Nash
Oh,
versus
they
Triple
put
H.
that poster out, right? I think they had put the
Yeah,
poster out and
and Nash is trying to figure out which side he's going to be on because H is talking to him and all that
yeah,
stuff. And I think Booker T versus Triple H, the rematch, should have been a Backlash
always.
instead of having a 6-man tag to introduce Nash as the number one contender.
I was stupid.
Which by that point he's
Nash was
shot.
shot. Yeah. Anyway, we move on.
Exactly. What are you going to do? By the way, Triple H won the match.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great.
The next thing, they had a video package of the probably one of the greatest matches, great for this card anyway. The street fight between Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Hogan
20
loses,
years in the making.
yep.
Right.
If Hogan loses, he has to retire, and he just signed that brand new contract.
Right.
And so, they show about how you walked out on me, you joined WCW.
Yeah.
This was great. This was great.
They forgot Thunder in Paradise, though.
We don't need that. That doesn't work for me either.
Yeah.
Now it's funny that Vince does this now, considering he brings him back in 2002. You know, the lethal dose of poison.
Right,
But
right,
now he's got the
right.
problem with Hogan. It's all right. This is a match we were desperately wanting to see, and man, it didn't
It
disappoint
was
these
great.
two.
Great
Oh,
street
this is
fight. It was great. This was fun stuff, man.
Hogan. You remember Hogan accidentally hits Hugo, the Spanish
Hmm.
announce table, and with a chair, and he busts him open. I was laughing. Everybody's like, "Oh, Hugo, all right?" No, I'm laughing. I don't care. McMahon grabbing the steel pipe with a low blow on Hogan. Both of these guys busted open. And what makes the match even better is who comes out, Roddy
Hmm.
Piper. And I'm sorry, but that night I knew who he was going after.
Oh yeah.
They make it to where you think he's going to hit Vince,
No, no, no.
and he attacks Hogan.
With
So
the
good, we're
history.
going to get another Hogan Piper match down the road. I was looking for that. But so now you think Hogan's going to come close to losing, and add insult to injury, Vince drops the leg drop on
Yeah,
Hogan.
yeah.
No, no pin.
Oh, this was great stuff.
They need a referee because the referee's out. Here comes Sylvain Grenier. Oh boy. Hogan hit with the boot, hits three leg drops and
Yeah.
gets the
But he had
pin.
hulked up. Yeah, I think he hulks up,
He
right? Too.
hulked up. Yep.
Yeah.
Took care of Grenier, thank
Yeah.
God. Make
Three
sure
leg
he
drops.
dropped three
Hmm.
three leg drops on Vince and gets the pin. Now afterwards, Shane McMahon comes down. Hogan doesn't know, okay, am I taking you
Right, right,
on
right.
next? Like what are we doing here? Hogan held the rope open for him. Hogan left while Shane's checking on Vince, and they kind of nodded at each other, but Hogan's still looking for a fight. Next match on the card is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. The Rock is trying to do one thing he has never done before, and that's beat Austin at WrestleMania. Now, this one has a little bit of a sentimental thing to it for Austin fans because some people don't know the night before WrestleMania, because he for whatever reason his neck and everything, it just something just didn't feel right. He was having a panic. What was going on?
The
The
panic
neck
attack or something,
injury and
right?
everything was starting to catch up to him. Yeah, and if you notice when he came down to the ring, they did not show him from his face as he was walking. They showed him from the back
All right.
because for whatever reaction was on his face. But if you notice him walking to the ring, he's all over the like wiper blade. He's not
Right,
walking
right,
straight.
right.
You
Yeah.
could see that there's something going on. But these two guys want to get this match in.
Yeah, he pushed himself because he shouldn't have been wrestling like.
Yep. But I mean, once they got in the ring, it didn't disappoint. Rock being a smartass, putting Austin's vest on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Um,
good stuff.
oh, and let's not forget, Austin wanted a piece of Rock before. He said the year before when Austin walked out, said, "Oh, you took your ball and went home."
Hmm.
He didn't forget about that for this match. Now they're all doing each other's moves here. Austin's doing rock bottoms, Rock's doing stunners. Um, Neither one of them can get the pin. Now, Rock at one point went for the rock bottom, gets no pin. Does another one, gets no pin. Finally, on the third one, he gets the pin on Steve Austin, pushes Earl Hebner away, and then this is where because I remember seeing something in regards to this, the conversation that The Rock had with Austin,
Hmm.
and then when he put his hand kind of like on his chest near his heart, because they knew Austin was done after this match,
Right.
unfortunately. And for Rock to get out of character just for that split moment, that to me that made the night. And he did not only once did he do that, but he did went over to him again to check on him and then say something else to him. But I love how he's trying to get Hebner like get the
Hmm.
hell out of here. I want to talk to him. But this was a great feud that culminating in 19. Rock finally getting the win over Austin. And a little side note, we know what Rock's got to expect the next night, so that's going to be fun for him. Next match on the card, they showed what led up to it, and that is the WrestleMania main event. It is Kurt Angle defending the WWE title against the Royal Rumble winner, Brock Lesnar. If Angle gets disqualified, counted out, or interference of any kind, it'll result in him losing of the title. Now, this is another match that almost did not
Hmm.
happen. Reason why is Angle's neck started really, really getting
Yep.
to him. They thought about a few weeks prior. I remember watching Smack that they were going to have this match several weeks before WrestleMania, so that if This way they can get possibly another challenger in
Right.
for WrestleMania. But Angle, even though they did the match, he said he would be good for WrestleMania, and I think that was the one where they did the brother switch,
Yeah.
if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
That's it.
So this match was really good. I've always said that I thought Brock Lesnar was pushed way too fast, and that could have been one of the reasons why he wanted to leave in 2004. Because look at him, he already won the King of the Ring, became
Yeah.
WWE champion a few months in, wins the Royal Rumble and main events WrestleMania all
Yeah.
in year one. What's left for him then? I think that was way too fast, but hey, that's just me. I'm not Vince McMahon. Now, during the match, Brock went for the F5 on Angle. Angle countered it to the ankle lock, which was switched to a half crab, but Brock eventually, grabs the rope. Despite how Angle felt, man, he put on a hell of a
He
show
did.
in
Yeah. You got
this
it
match.
out. Yeah.
Angle got the angle slam on Brock, no pin. Brock gets the F5 for, gets right up F5, no pin. Now, Angle locked in the ankle lock. Lesnar dragged Angle over to the ropes. Finally got them to break it. Once again, Brock with an F5. Now, this is where the rookie mistake comes into play. And he's lucky he didn't kill himself.
Oh yeah.
Angle's all the way on the other end of the ring. I don't know what he's thinking. Brock goes to the top rope, wants to do a shooting star press.
Right, because he had done it in
He does
OVW.
it.
He had done it in OVW
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
But there's a reason why we haven't seen it here.
Right.
And he does it and practically lands on his
He
head
lands on his head.
next to Angle.
Yeah, he almost killed himself. If he wasn't in the shape that he was in, like with all those the trap muscles and everything,
Yeah.
he would have been paralyzed. Like,
Oh, definitely.
that was crazy.
And you could see the look on his face. The
He
porch
was
lights
messed up.
on.
He was
Nobody's
concussed.
home.
He was concussed. I think maybe what happened was he had gained weight since OVW, maybe, or maybe he just hadn't done it in so long. Nerve. I don't know what it was, but he botched it and he almost killed himself.
I
But
think it's because he hadn't done it in so long.
it's possible.
That and Angle's
He
on
might
the
be
other end of the
bigger.
ring,
He also might be bigger
Yeah.
now from the. I don't know.
which is going to stop the distance
Right,
that he
right.
can go.
But I think he was supposed to win the match with that move. I think that was the original plan, is that he was going to win
Yeah.
the match. So they had to call the audible, and he F5'd
How
him,
he
right?
got up,
Yeah, I don't know.
how he got up and actually F5'd him
Yeah,
again
yeah.
and got the pin, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
You could see he's messed up. Like when he leans on the ropes, you could see like he's not
Yeah.
in good shape. Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar wins the match, becomes the WWE champion once again. Him and Angle shook hands and hugged at the end of this, which I thought was real cool. Because then, over the course of Angle coming back, he's going to be him and Lesnar are going to be buddy
Right.
until they fight again.
Yeah.
Because this is the year of Angle and Lesnar.
Mhm.
But I thought this was a really good match, despite the fact that
it's bad. And
they thought that Angle at one point broke his neck again.
Right, he was
That was really what they were thinking.
he was in bad shape, and then Brock gets hurt. Except for the botch, this is a tremendous match.
It was.
And just a tremendous WrestleMania. The card was great. It was a great card.
Oh yeah, definitely. You had this was star studded from beginning to end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's a review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Take care.